Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for Northern Ag TV. We're coming to you from the Malt, Barley, and Sugarbeet Symposium in Billings, and I'm joined here by Montana Grain Growers President Steve Sheffels, who also serves on the National Barley Growers Board. And Steve, you got to talk to the group of producers here today. I think it's fair to say it's a challenging time in the cereal crop business. What were some of the high points that you talked with these growers about here?
Well, we've got two government programs that are relevant that we talked about. The first was the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that had passed in July, and our membership knows quite a bit about it if they came to convention, but some of the members down here in the southern part of the state don't get to make it to convention, so we just gave them an update on that. We also gave them an update on the Farmer Bridge Assistance Program. December 31st, the USDA announced the payment levels for that program so that guys can start to figure out what they might be getting paid. For example, wheat's going to be paid out at $39.35 an acre, and barley's going to be paid out at $20.51 per acre. We know that that'll be paid out supposed to be paid out by the end of February. What we don't know is if there's going to be a discount factored like there was with the ERP, and I would expect something similar to that, like the 85% in the first payment, and then we got 14% in August. So if it's like the ERP, that's what we would expect, but those numbers have not been announced.
Well, I know we've had a lot of questions about this program since it was announced. I think the other thing to touch on, a lot of our rotational crops would also be included in that, so some of the oil seeds and pulses. So it's pretty critical for these guys with where the input costs have been the last several years. Getting through 2026, this is probably going to be needed.
Oh, absolutely. And I think with the announcement out like it is, that guys are going to be able to go to their bankers with a number and say, we're expecting a payment like this. And so people can put it in their plans and actually be able to have a benefit from this payment at this time of year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then, of course, you talked about the One Big Beautiful Bill. One of the real key parts of that was increasing reference prices, something wheat and barley growers have been asking for a long time. So we can get to that, but we got to get through one more growing season before we can realize it.
That's right. And checked the USDA site last month, and with the increase in reference prices with that One Big Beautiful Bill Act, unfortunately, barley is still in that range of the reference price. I think it's $5.35 for barley, and they're projecting a 15-cent per bushel payment at this time for reference prices. But for wheat, where we know the price has kind of been in the tank for a long time, the PLC projection at this point is $1.35 per bushel. So that's a pretty significant number. So in October, when that payment comes due, that's another something that farmers can be expecting to get.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know a lot of growers probably seeding winter wheat last fall felt like they were betting on the come, just hoping things would be better. But this does kind of put a little light at the end of the tunnel that if we can get through this, there may be some better days, let alone if maybe it'll rain and we'll have a good crop this year.
Well, that's right. And this isn't dependent on the weather, right? The reference price, the PLC program, should pay out regardless. So that's actually something you can count on. So that's good.
Well, it is, and I know you're going to be busy working on Farm Bill priorities that are still out there, and of course got the National Wheat Growers meeting coming up at the end of the month, so you're a busy man traveling a lot.
Well, yeah, more than I do when I'm farming, for sure.
You bet. Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us and speaking to the growers at the Malt, Barley, and Sugarbeet Symposium. For the Northern Ag Network, I'm Coulter Brown.